If at first you don't succeed, try and try till you do. Perseverance is a quality as rare as platinum. It is a combination of determination, patience, and belief, all embodied by the great MS Dhoni through his celebrated career. He is a true man of platinum.
The MS Dhoni Signature Edition. Jewelry crafted in rare platinum for men of platinum.
Hello and welcome to the Dhoni Legacy, presented by Men of Platinum. Through this series, we discuss various attributes of MS Dhoni's storied career in the game that showcase what he was all about. Today, that quality is perseverance, a virtue, a value as rare as platinum, just as Dhoni is. And to discuss the perseverance of Dhoni and his legacy throughout for India as well as the Super Kings, Anil Kumble, man who passed on the baton all those years ago in the test format to MS as captain. Danny Morrison has observed his career, has some wonderful stories. Gentlemen, welcome. As I talk about perseverance, a value as rare as platinum, and it's a nice value to associate with Dhoni, who's, if I can say, at the start of when he came in, Anil, there was a determination, a perseverance about MS, the leader, at what was a challenging time when he took over.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, even when he first walked into the team, it was not like he was coming from an under-19 sort of a scenario. That's how most young Indian players come through the ranks into the Indian team. So he was much older and he came in with those long hair and his wicket-keeping style and even his batting style didn't conform to the copybook, you know, so to speak. So he was very different. So in that sense, you know, to have that kind of belief in his own ability and skill and to sort of succeed with that has been outstanding, you know, to come in and he was very soft-spoken and barely sort of had conversations when he first walked in, but the confidence, you could see that when he walked into bat or when he was keeping wickets. It was never that you noticed Dhoni as a keeper because he was always safe behind the stumps and in front of the stumps. He had that confidence no matter who was bowling.
Yeah, I'm delighted you mentioned his start because Danny, you've covered the game for so many years. And back then when MS started around the early 2000s, there was still an orthodoxy or a conformist approach to how one should keep, how one should bat in ODI cricket, in Test cricket, to persevere with what is considered to be almost abnormal, you know, which is supposed to be a recipe to fail rather than succeed, speaks of how much conviction he had in his own unorthodox ability.
And you touched on it there. He was his own man and still is to a degree, but I think you notice that, don't you, when someone's new and very different and how they conduct themselves. But yeah, what struck me, as you said, obviously the hair. The hair was outstanding.
He persevered
and then
with that.
Wrighty, and Johnny Wright was coach and what have you in those early 2000s. And so I remember just seeing Wrighty and just catching up, and I'd be coming off from a pitch report or doing an interview with someone, and I said, gee, this guy's interesting looking, isn't he? And stuff. And he goes, yeah, keep an eye on him. Yeah, keep a good eye on him. This guy is unique. He just said that about that because, as you said, a man of few words, totally different style, the way he conducted himself. His hair was a little outrageous for, you know, not that conformist thing you think about. So yeah, I immediately was struck by him and those hands, as you say, it was quite rigid, and he was very different in his take of it. Not that the textbook sort of give and the soft hands and fluency like a conductor of an orchestra. He just boom, hard, boom, bang. And look, I mean, still going. I mean, incredible.
When we speak of perseverance off the field, I'm delighted to bring up his personality about being fairly soft-spoken from a part of India where usually captaincy doesn't come your way in Indian cricket. Anil, you know that. And yet, when he took to the role, it didn't take long before he stamped his authority. There was a perseverance about decision-making, even if there were tough decisions to be made. What can you tell us about how he grew into the role as a leader?
Well, I think it was just as it came naturally to him. He was a natural leader behind the stumps. He read the game really well, even when he was not captain. But you know, the 2007 T20 World Cup win certainly brought him to the forefront. And when I was captain of the test matches, and then he was the vice captain, a couple of occasions I was injured, so he took over as the captain. Never ever felt that I had to sort of speak to him saying, you know what, can we do this? He was in control. So that's the best part about MS. You know, MS, since the time that I saw him as the captain in test match cricket, he was totally in control of all the situations because he read the game really well. He was slightly ahead of what you sort of wanted at that point in time to do, and never felt that he was in a hurry too. You know, you've seen that even now.
I mean, we're talking about a man who is rare. His achievements are rare to win 3 ICC titles, and that period, Danny, I mean, you look at how hard it is to win ICC titles even now in 2025. And it's fair to say, as a global broadcaster yourself, there was an identity of the Indian team's success under the leadership of Dhoni and his perseverance with the way he wanted to play white ball cricket in particular.
Yeah, and I think, again, as you say, you have natural leaders. They're charismatic for sure, but they also then instill a belief within the rest of the gang, as you were, and they want to follow that, and then they believe, and it's that great thing. I think Brendan McCullum used that catch cry in 2015, dare to believe, and you do, and I think with someone like Dhoni, it's so inspirational.
And when we talk about his style of play and perseverance, we speak of it as a value as rare as platinum. MS Dhoni is a man as rare as platinum. When you talk about his game, it's fair to say, Anil, he had to find unorthodox ways even to succeed as a test batter. There is stepping out down to a Jimmy Anderson in England. There are times in the ODI game he had a terrible or not a favourable record against Muralidharan, and yet there was decisions that he made on big stages, walk in ahead to face Murli. What does that tell us about just the mindset, the mentality when it comes to MS and his perseverance?
I think, you know, he's figured a way out of solving problems. I mean, at the end of it, that's what you eventually do as a player. You know, whether you're a batter, whether you're a bowler, a keeper, or as a captain. I think he found ways to solve all of these in his own mind rather than, because he was totally unorthodox.
Yeah.
He was very different. And he had that ability to do that. And I think to have that belief and to come out and show that, look, this is the way I will approach no matter what anybody else is saying. It looked very different when, like you said, Jimmy Anderson is swinging the ball and then he's stepping out and then leaving it, or someone's bumping him and then he's taking him on the chest and then walking back. Second ball again, he goes down the pitch. And that's something that he felt that was the way to succeed, and he was successful in that.
That's on international cricket. And let's just pivot to the IPL as well, because he persevered with some very interesting styles of teams that he put together. I understand in 2025 it's been tough for CSK, but at their peak, when Dhoni was captain, Dad's Army, we call them, persevered with the old boys, and my God, they shut a few doubters in those years.
Yeah, well, they won it in 23, and prior to that, when you think those COVID years that were going on about the Dad's Army, weren't we, in 2020, 21? I just think, and we explain the games so different now, but prior to that, that formula that worked for Dhoni, his belief in taking it deep, right near the end, and how often did he, I mean, because it was obviously a younger, better visuals, eye, whatever.
Knees, certainly.
Totally. So you could do that, and it was incredible, that the helicopter shot that came into it and everything, and those hands and wrists and everything, just to finish a game. He'd be there at the end, and you just felt, as long as he's there in the last 12 balls, got a chance.
I guess it's no coincidence that the man who won the first T20 World Cup as captain was also the one who understood the shortest format while we were all still coming to terms with how it was, and that's a big part of CSK's success and the perseverance that he had, the influence he had over that.
Absolutely, he still does. He still does carry that influence in the franchise. To go at bringing in Robin Uthappa in 2021 and then suddenly bringing him in that semi-final, I think.
Correct.
And
UAE.
and changing the game. He won the game for them. And Ajinkya Rahane has had not a great season with the other franchise. Suddenly he comes to Chennai and then he bats number 3 and changes the dynamic for CSK. They go on to win.
He's also backed veterans, Faf du Plessis out of form, or Shane Watson out of form, and they just go on and win you the league.
So I guess he has that template. It can happen once, then you say, no, it's just a coincidence. But then it can't happen 5 times.
Correct.
And still sort of has that control of things when the game is is being played out. So hats off to him.
Yeah, he's persevered. It's a value as rare as platinum. His style of leadership. It's MS Dhoni is a man as rare as platinum. And I've got a platinum story via Danny Morrison for you. The first in the early years of the IPL. Tell us that story of when MS served you, not just perseverance. There's some service there. Tell us about that, Dan.
And because then from the story, lots of coin tosses afterwards, I'd go, and here is my multi-millionaire butler in the house. So how that came about was we're in Chennai. Gee, this must have been like 2012, around that time. Day game, hot, sweating profusely. We had some Baltic cheerleaders at the time, and they had these almost like pandawalas. They had the big fan.
Fanning you like royalty.
Yeah, they were. And I was sitting with a chair there, and so our producer said, look, I'm going to get another chair, because we had to wait. We had to wait for a while, and sitting there, it was so hot. So we got another chair and said, look, I'm just going to explain to MS that he's going to come in and he may as well bring a drink. How about that? Can we go with that, Danny? I said, mate, totally. So he had Silver Salva, 2 orange juices, the cheerleaders giving that, and then he just strolled in after, hi gang, about to do the toss, and just melting out here. And then, Buttmaster, the butler's here. What's going on? Danny, I see you need something. Here you are. And then it just played it beautifully. So then, from then on, we just all thought, mate, post-playing, mate, walk-in roles in Bollywood movies.
Oh, man.
Take it easy. Sat down, loved it.
And he was in his playing kit, not in a butler's dress.
No, and he was coming out, yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you so much, Danny Morrison and Anil Kumble. There you have it. Stories of MS Dhoni's perseverance over the years, what made him such a personality, and that led to his success for both India and the Chennai Super Kings. It's a value as rare as platinum. MS Dhoni is a man as rare as platinum. That wraps up another episode of the Dhoni Legacy presented by Men of Platinum.
The MS Dhoni Signature Edition. Jewelry crafted in rare platinum for Men of Platinum.